Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, Build Your Network. My name is Lisa Famularo. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a career coach at the UConn Center for Career Development. During this presentation, I will cover four main topics. To start, we'll talk about what is networking. Then we'll move into different types of networking, talk about some online networking in practice, and then end with some tips and strategies. Before we dive into our content for today, I want to talk briefly about becoming career ready, what career competencies are, and what specific competencies this presentation and you building your network will help develop. Becoming career ready comes from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, also referred to as NACE, who developed a foundation of career readiness, which is having the ability to, quote, demonstrate core competencies that broadly prepare the college educated for success in the workplace and lifelong career management, end quote. In simpler terms, becoming career ready is the development and articulation of these 8 competencies that have been identified by employers as essential for career success. We have some great resources on our website, career.uconn.edu, to help you identify your competency levels and ways to further develop them. Today's presentation and participating in building your network will help develop the following competencies. First, career and self-development, being able to talk about your career journey with those in your network. Second, communication, specifically written communication when reaching out to potential networking connections online, as well as verbal communication when speaking to them in person. Third, professionalism, demonstrating your ability to behave appropriately in networking environments. And lastly, technology, understanding the appropriate technology for use in networking and using it effectively. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the first section of today's presentation, which is defining networking. Networking is the process or practice of building up or maintaining informal relationships, especially with people whose friendships could bring advantages such as jobs or business opportunities. Networking can consist of both in-person and virtual formats. For example, for in-person, networking can occur at events, conferences, and even in the classroom. When it comes to virtual networking, LinkedIn is a great resource for formulating those connections. Networking is often thought of as having to be in a formal setting, but it can really happen anywhere. Where and how networking happens for you depends on your major and your career goals. Just remember that it's important to recognize the environment that you are networking in. Virtual networking has the same process as in-person networking, but has some form of technology involved, that being the main difference. Now that we're all on the same page about the definition of networking, let's move into talking about a few different types of networking. Overall, there are 3 main types of networking: networking on a daily basis, networking at events, and online or virtual networking. We'll go over each type of networking, starting with everyday networking, which is the most common form. Networking on a daily basis is less structured and includes making professional connections with the people you interact with on an everyday basis, including professors, TAs, and other professionals and friends. This type of networking is generally unstructured and informal. This could mean talking to professors and graduate students in your research setting to learn more about their projects and interests, attending a professor or TA's office hour to learn more about what they do and potential opportunities within their field, asking questions and participating in class, attending on-campus talks or conferences and asking questions, interacting with students, professors, and professionals through clubs and student organizations, and talking to friends, classmates, and colleagues, especially if they have similar career interests. Networking at events is what we would describe as typical networking, or the image that we usually think of when we hear the term networking. A few examples of what this might include are things like attending a career or internship fair, conducting an informational interview, which is a 20 to 60-minute conversation with someone where you ask them questions to learn more about their major, occupation, company, or industry. Attending networking events. These events are often sponsored by employers, effective for applying for jobs and learning more about specific companies. A common type of networking event is an information session where an employer shares more information about their company and opportunities at their company. Info sessions are great places to network, and upcoming info sessions are listed in Handshake under the Events tab. Affinity groups also often sponsor networking events. Affinity groups are organizations that serve to bring together people who share a common professional interest or identity. And last example, attending a conference is also a great way to meet and talk with professionals in your field or industry. Using online resources to connect and form professional relationships with people you might not meet otherwise is a great option for building your network. Ways to connect online include LinkedIn, the Husky Mentor Network, and the Major Experience. LinkedIn is a great way for staying connected with friends who have graduated, other students within your major or field of interest, and other people you know. Regularly using LinkedIn to post professional content, like add and comment on others' content, and participate in conversations within groups can help in broadening your network connections. You can utilize the Search Alumni tool to find UConn alumni working in your field of interest and possibly set up an informational interview with them. Schedule a LinkedIn consultation with a career coach for individualized help with building your network using LinkedIn. The Husky Mentor Network also allows you to reach out to professional UConn alumni within your field. These professionals have opted into the network because they want to mentor current students. Take advantage of this and connect with key professionals on this platform. You can request a career conversation and talk to an alum about how they got to where they are today and any advice they have for you. Visit our website at career.uconn.edu to create your account and get started. Lastly, the Major Experience, or TME here at UConn, is a joint partnership between the Center for Career Development and ACES to facilitate major exploration among all students, whether you're completely undecided, comfortably declared, or somewhere in between. TME has undergraduate student mentors for each of the many majors on campus. You can reach out to them and ask questions to gain more information about what it's like to be in a given major. Visit tme.uconn.edu to get started. No matter what type of networking you are using, keep in mind three things: places, people, and topics. First off, places. What is the setting that you're networking in? Is it formal, casual? The location will also help determine the level of formality. It's important to know your audience and avoid being either too formal or too informal. Second, people. Ask yourself these questions. Who am I networking with? Are they a supervisor, a colleague, or someone else? Your tone of voice and level of formality will depend on who you're networking with as well as the setting. And third, topics. What am I interested in talking about? What do I want to share about myself? Make sure you do research on the event or the other type of networking opportunity that you're engaging in, and be prepared with some talking points. Make a list of interests and experiences that you have that are relevant. Stay on topic. Prepare 3 to 5 questions per person that you will be networking with. Sometimes it can be hard to determine what type of networking style would work best for you. A good starting off point is thinking about what kind of personality you have. For someone who is extroverted, meaning they are typically a social butterfly who enjoys interacting with both friends and strangers, large conferences and speed networking style events might be an initial step in networking. If someone is more introverted, meaning they are shyer and prefer interacting with friends as opposed to strangers, perhaps beginning with a one-on-one discussion or a small panel discussion would be a good match. For ambiverts who have a personality mix of both extroversion and introversion, consider trying a mixture of the different event options. It's important to remember that you should not shy away from participating in networking event styles that are outside of your personality type. Even if you are an introvert, consider trying larger conferences and speed networking, and same goes for extroverts. We can always help you prepare in the Center for Career Development for the networking direction of your choice. For the next section of today's presentation, we'll move into talking about online networking in practice. When participating in virtual networking events, there are a few things that you should consider. First, the audience. Who will be there? What type of people will I be interacting with at the event? It's important to know that in advance so that you can prepare accordingly. Second, format and structure. Is it conference style? Are there going to be one-on-one breakout rooms? Will I be interacting with people in a one-on-one setting or in a group setting? These are all things that will be helpful to know in advance. Third, engagement. How will participants engage in this event? Will the participants have the option of speaking directly to other attendees? Will there be a chat feature? Fourth, the overall purpose of the event. What is the overall theme or direction? Is the event tailored towards a specific audience or a specific industry? And lastly, cost. Is there an attendee fee or any other costs associated with participating and attending? These are all things that you should know and consider before choosing your virtual networking event option. Next, we'll discuss LinkedIn and share some tips about some helpful LinkedIn features. LinkedIn is a great tool for connecting with potential employers, students, faculty and staff, and alumni. When making connections on LinkedIn, you can send personalized invitations to people who you have met before through events, or to those who you haven't met before but you're interested in connecting with, and you may have mutual connections with. It's always a good idea to send a personalized message to let the recipient know why you're reaching out. The easiest way to search for and find UConn alumni on LinkedIn is first to go to the University of Connecticut page, which you can do by typing in University of Connecticut in the top LinkedIn search bar. Upon searching for UConn, you will see a submenu on that page, and you can click on the alumni option, which will display the search feature that you see on the right side of the screen. The alumni information that is presented on LinkedIn can be super helpful when looking to expand your network. You can filter the alumni by their class year, industry, the company they work for, their geographic location, or what they studied at the university. All helpful filter options. You can also use these features to see what common areas alumni work in, whether industry or where they live. You will also be presented with a list of alumni to whom you can send an invitation to connect with. For more information on LinkedIn, check out our LinkedIn-specific presentations and webinars, or schedule a meeting with a career coach. We have lots of tips about how to make the most of LinkedIn, but for today we'll focus on 6 tips that you should consider when using LinkedIn for networking. Number 1, add in new experiences and education updates as they occur. A lot of people like to wait to add in these updates, but the more updated your profile, the more accurate a depiction of people you're networking will have of you. Number 2, along with that, make sure to keep your profile updated with a new picture, headline, and summary as needed. Number 3, customize your profile's URL. If you have a simple URL, this can be included on your resume or email signature for individuals to easily find your profile. Number 4, when you're sending an invitation to connect with someone you do not know very well especially, send a personalized note stating who you are and why you would like to connect, as we discussed on one of the previous slides. Number 5, join groups. Groups are a great way of connecting with others who share similar interests, have participated in similar activities, or share a similar identity. Groups provide space for members to chat and share on specific topics of interest. And number 6, make sure to engage. Engagement is a great way to spread your name around LinkedIn and form more connections. You can engage by posting your own materials and by participating in others' posts by sharing, liking, and commenting. In addition to LinkedIn, the Husky Mentor Network is another great online tool to help expand your network. The Husky Mentor Network is a platform for students to connect with UConn alumni and professionals for one-on-one career conversations like mock interviews, resume critiques, and more. When logging into the Husky Mentor Network, you'll need to create an account using your UConn email address. Once logged in, if you click on Advisors, you will match with those who have similar backgrounds and interests as you. You can also filter advisors using many of the filter options that you see on the left side of the screen, including what they majored in, what they studied, where they're geographically located, or what industry they work in. When you click on a specific advisor, you will be brought to their profile page. On their profile, you can see their education and work history by scrolling down. You can also schedule and message advisors directly through their profile on the right-hand side of the screen. The Husky Mentor Network is one of many virtual networks that exist for you to be a part of. Here are some things to keep in mind when it comes to choosing how to engage with a virtual mentoring network. First, who are the members? Also remember that these members are there because they want to connect with other people who share their interests on certain topics and maybe some career goals as well. Second, what does the structure look like? Keep in mind the structure specifically of the connections. Will there be methods of communicating between you and your individual advisor? Is it more of a group setting? What will meetings look like? All of these are good things to keep in mind. And then lastly, relationship longevity. If you think that the relationship between you and your mentor is beneficial, you can always find ways to make sure that you remain in contact. Sometimes this is already built into a virtual mentor network, but other mentor networks are designed for just one-time interactions. You should always make sure you discuss the future of communication and scheduling if you're interested in staying in touch. Thinking about these 3 aspects of mentoring networks will ensure that you receive what you're hoping to get out of your relationships with the mentors you meet through them. To close out today's presentation, we'll discuss some overall networking tips and strategies. When preparing to network, here are some suggestions. If you're going to an in-person event, come prepared with a Padfolio or a nice folder and some copies of your resume. If it's a virtual event, make sure you have your resume handy to share with the people you're speaking with. Either way, make sure that you prepare an elevator pitch, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a second. Have prepared networking questions for each person you plan on speaking with. Ensure that you are wearing the appropriate attire for that networking scene, whether it's in person or virtual, and with that comes understanding the setting in which you are networking. Additionally, we highly suggest that you set networking goals for yourself. Consider asking yourself the following questions. First, what do you want to get out of this networking event or opportunity? Second, what do you want to accomplish in the next month regarding networking? And third, what future networking activities do you plan to participate in? Your answers to these three questions can dictate your future career actions and make sure that you are making the most out of your networking. Elevator pitch is a brief summary of your skills and experiences as they apply to a particular job or networking experience. Generally, elevator pitches are 15 seconds to 1 minute long. This is pretty short, so you may need to make some decisions about what to include and what to cut from your pitch. Begin by introducing yourself with your first and last name, major, and year. If you don't have a major yet, you can always say that you're exploratory or mention an emerging academic interest. Then, talk about a past experience from your resume. This previous experience can be anything that you've been involved with, such as an internship, a part-time or full-time job, a research experience, a volunteer experience, an academic project, or a student club or organization. When you're discussing this experience, be sure to describe what you did at that experience, some skills you used, and what you accomplished. Then, if you can, relate this particular experience to the networking topic that you're discussing. End your elevator pitch by stating your future goals and what you're hoping to learn from the conversation. Talking about yourself may seem awkward when you first start, but in the professional world, people expect you to talk about your job, education, experiences, and goals, and they expect to be asked the same. Preparing for networking questions can be tough. Here are some sample networking questions you can reference when developing yours. What are your primary job responsibilities? What experience did you have to get your job? Do you recommend that I enroll in any specific classes? What opportunities for advancement are there in this organization or field? What recommendations do you have for me regarding a job search strategy? Do you have any recommendations for individuals I should speak with? This is just a short list of examples. You can find more questions in the Harvard Law School's publication on networking, Questions to Ask. You can also develop any other questions of your own by thinking about the type of information you're hoping to learn from your networking conversations and turning that into questions. After you have participated in a networking event, consider the following action steps. Send personalized letters or emails to the individuals you spoke with. These letters or emails can be thank you notes for taking the time to speak with you and also can express further interest in whatever you spoke about. If you're able to, at the event itself, make sure you collect business cards or contact information from the people you spoke with to ensure you're able to follow up with them afterwards. Connect with the people who you met on LinkedIn as well, and lastly, make sure to send any materials they requested, like perhaps a resume, a writing sample, a portfolio link, promptly. Lastly, here are some overall networking best practices to keep in mind as you embark on your career journey. First, make sure you set some goals for yourself. Have both individualized goals for each networking scenario and overall networking goals. Second, prepare an elevator pitch. Visit our website for more resources on developing a strong elevator pitch and schedule a career coaching appointment if you'd like to review it with someone. Third, for each networking activity you participate in, learn about it in advance. This would include researching what industries will be present at the event and the structure of how the event will be hosted. Fourth, take notes during the event and each of your conversations. These notes will be helpful as you start thinking about opportunities and employers you would be interested in working for in the future. Lastly, continue to develop your connections outside of the initial networking event that you attend. To do this, keep track of the people who you interact with and ask for their contact information. You can also follow up after the event, and you should, within 48 hours, to thank them for their time, send any requested materials, or ask any remaining questions. Finally, here's the contact information for the Center for Career Development so that you can stay in touch with us after today's presentation. Please feel free to reach out to us via phone, email, or visit our website for additional information. Thank you for attending today's webinar, Build Your Network. We hope that you found the information helpful, and we look forward to seeing you either in the office or at another event soon.